evidently, it may not have gotten recorded, but I have a class, and these things are very cheap on my website, on sex, which is a very, very good talk, which I recommend. It's a class, okay? There's exercises, and there's quizzes, and there's very important points, all that. Like, they're very nicely done. I have one for understanding women. I don't have any clients every client's a requirement. I say, your best investment is my clients. Well, you have clients too. So I just say, better than a session with me, skip a session and listen to take that class. It's not listen to it, take the class. That's understanding women. And the other one is on sex. Those are the two best at my website. I also have one called How to Bring Out the Best in Your Partner. And in that one, I answer a question that I didn't fully answer yesterday, which is, when men lose motivation, now we understand it. And understanding is key, so you don't suddenly think, just because he's not motivated, it doesn't mean he doesn't love me, and it doesn't mean I can't get the motivated guy back. But how do you get the motivated guy back? You practice asking for more in a non-demanding way. And I would review all of his homework, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, how to ask for more. It's right there. And then there's another one in Beyond Mars and Venus, how to ask for more, which is a bit more sophisticated. But I give people this story a million times because it's a simple story. So Bonnie is asking for more for years of me and becoming more and more frustrated and irritable. Something that's very little becomes very big, because you ask more than 3 times. Imagine you ask 20 times over 20-year marriage. Every time she asks, the disapproval in the tone of her voice, the frustration, the judgment, the criticism, the doubt, the mistrust, it's all in the tone of voice. That's called the ABC theory, which is the first time the man doesn't do it, you have a little frustration. Next time he doesn't do it, you have a bit more. Next time you do, all the way to XYZ. No man's ever going to do what you want if the tone of your voice reveals XYZ. And if your words even reveal EFG, which is like, I've told you so many times. Now, how many women can relate to that? You just want to point out to them, look, I asked you so many times. That is your disapproval of him. That's your lack of appreciation of him. That's your lack of trust in him. Remember, what's the key needs that men have? That's our basic premise. Men need trust, messages of trust, and the most important message of trust is ask again in the same tone of voice as if the first time. You strive for that, but you don't want to ask 21 times. If you get beyond 3 times, you're asking for too much. You need to find something else to ask for that would have value in your life, make your life a little more comfortable, so he gets used to having you ask. And you let him know, sometimes I start to feel lonely, so I need to ask you to do things. And when you do them, they're not a big deal. They're little things, but when you do it, it makes me feel really happy. See, that's your motivation to a man. Of course, I can do it myself. Now, how many women here do it yourself sometimes rather than ask? Let's do an example of that. Who can give me an example of that? Who raised, just like, I know it's like somebody pulling out of a box, but see if you can find it. Okay, go ahead.
So like this morning when my husband and I were driving, he likes to just tell me what we're doing instead of just asking like, hey sweetie, what would you like to do? And so I then say, I ask myself the question. And so it's probably the wrong thing to do, but I'm like, I ask myself the question because I've asked it several times. I need you to ask me the question. I need you to ask me what I want to do, or what I'm thinking or feeling, etc. And so I think he said something like, well, I can go do this, I can go do that. And I said, sweetie, what do you want me to do? So I said, how about I just text you? How about I just communicate with you when I have a break or whatever? I don't know if
that's okay. But I've already, the conversation's in the wrong direction in my mind, and I want to focus on the conversation. He says to you, what would you like to do? Yeah. And you asked him what he'd like to do.
Well, he didn't ask me what I like to do. He just tells me.
Oh, okay. So now the request would look like this. Okay. So he says, today I think we can do this and this. Your always response to a man is, well, that makes sense, or that's a good idea. And here are 3, this is called assertiveness technique. Here are 3 things I would like to do. And if you don't know what that would be, You say, well, before we plan the day, I'd like to explore some possibilities and come up with them. So you're asking him to, before we decide, let's explore some possibilities. Haven't had time to think about it. If you haven't, if you know what you like to do, you can say what you like to do, or you can say, I need some time to think about what I'd like to do and discuss it. And not take offense that he's already planned out your day. And the mistake women make is to often think that if a man has planned out your day, there's no room for you to have input. You think there's no room to have input because you haven't asked him to create room for you to have input. So you have to ask for everything with men. You have to imagine they're blind. They can't see anything. And, it's kind of like, okay, to the left, okay, now to the right, okay, go over here. This is men. And they're just going to do whatever they're thinking. They will do what you want if you ask them to do what you want and you train them. Vicki says to me, I'm watching TV, and she says, when you have a chance, would you make me tea? Okay, when you have a chance, would you make me some orange juice? Now, because I know that will create estrogen in her if I respond. Now, if I respond right away, quickly, it doubles the estrogen. Okay. Fortunately, with our TV, I can put it on pause. You have these systems now where you just put it on pause and jump. In my mind, I've been trained to think a 5-minute job is the best foreplay. Driving in a way that will be supportive of her is the best foreplay. Planning something, having something in my mind, something we can do is good, because women will complain, what, you don't even think about anything? But then when he does say, I've got things to do, you don't even think about what I'm feeling. I mean, women is often a no-win situation for men. It's just sort of a trap, as opposed to her understanding the art of asking for support. That's such an important thing, to ask for little things. Would you on your way upstairs, would you move those boxes? If there's 3 boxes, will you move one of the boxes? Okay, just make it little things, and so that you can then react that he did something for you when you asked, and he will do it. And he will learn that when I do little things, and you can then say things like, when you carried that box, it felt so good. I just like to see you move sometimes. I like to see you interact. Sometimes I feel alone, and I know you love me. See, those are called buffer phrases. Whenever you're asking for more, men will hear it as, oh, I'm not giving enough. I have to do even more for you. You see all that I'm doing? Because their reflex, if they're working hard for money, is, don't you see I'm working hard for money? Oh, I understand you're working so hard for money. And so one of my go-to stories is many of my stories is when I realize these things. So how many can remember when I talk about the story of getting the milk story? Okay. That's a dance. I'm walking to the bedroom. I'm tired. I've been in my cave watching. I'm really exhausted, working so hard. I got nothing left. I'm making money. And I'm sitting at the TV set, and I'm walking to the bedroom upstairs, and she follows me. And I kind of, what's she doing? Okay, and I come and I sit down. She says, actually, while I was moving, she says, hey, while you're up, would you go to the 7-Eleven and buy some milk? Now, she has asked me 3 times already, and I've forgotten to do it. She doesn't say, I've asked you 3 times before, would you get the milk? She didn't say that. And then I say, oh, I can do that tomorrow. Now, she knows I'll forget tomorrow, because when I'm worrying about money and trying to work hard, I don't think about little things like milk. Even though she wants the milk, I'm thinking about the big stuff. We don't have money, we're not going to get the milk, right? So this is men prioritizing big stuff. We don't prioritize little stuff. So she's very wise. She just came along. She just sat next to me, sat down. I said, I'll do it tomorrow. And she continued to follow me. And I sit down, I start to take off my shoes. And she just simply said, it would be so nice if you would go to the store and get the milk. Always short request, specific, and no demand. See, it's like my preference. It'd be so nice. It would feel good. And it's more than a preference, actually. It's a small request with a reward. That's always the key. Now, this isn't like, I need you to go out and mow the lawn tonight, okay? That's a bigger job, okay? So we're talking training a man that when he does little stuff, and so then I said, look, I tried to get out of it. This is not like trying to get out of it. To me, it's just logical. Look, I'm tired now. I'll get it tomorrow. What's the problem? Now, she could have said, the problem is I've asked you 3 times. We've had to have milk all week. Kids want cereal. She didn't make it in a big deal like I failed her. You always have to do, it's not a big deal tone of voice. It's not a big deal tone of voice. Women tend to use the tone of voice to amp it up of frustration. I've asked you 3 times. When are you going to do it? And you're not going to be able to do this perfectly, but this is how you train a man. Little things make a big difference with women. We don't have any training that little things make a big difference. And you go, but in the beginning you did lots of little things. Yes, because we weren't doing big stuff. That's all we were willing to do for you was little things. And we were just seeing how you respond. And then our thinking is she responds this way to little things. My God, when I start doing the big stuff, being monogamous, being married, making money, sharing my income with her, all that, that's the big stuff. So if I do big stuff, why do I need to do little stuff? You know, when you're the CEO of the company, why do I have to empty the trash? So this is the way men think. You climb the ladder of success, so you don't have to do little stuff. Your mind can focus on big stuff. So she sat there, and this is the technique. It's called gentle assertiveness. You keep repeating the request in a non-demanding tone with a reward. So the reward is to make her happy. That's all it is. So I still remember because it completely was the setting. So I said, she's sitting there and she's saying, she said it again while I sat down. It would just be so nice if you went to the store right away. I'll go tomorrow. And she could have easily discounted it. No, you've forgotten 3 times. She doesn't say that. Very smart. And I'm saying, I'm just so tired. I work so hard. You do. I know you're tired. You work so hard. I mean, how could we be living in this wonderful house if it wasn't for you? See, it's appreciation, but it's appreciation. Trust, you know, you're the guy, you know, trying to build him up a little bit. But also, and then saying, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get to sleep now. And she basically goes, it would just be so nice. I would love it. This little things, it's like, and in my mind, I'm going, she's not going to give up. Okay? So I promise you tomorrow I'll do it. And she said, that would really, really be great. You know, we'd have cereal for the kids. I can't wait. It would just be so nice if you went right now.
How many times now? 5 times in a row?
No, I think it was like 3 times. She had once walking and then 3 times sitting in the bed. And I haven't been trained yet. So my first reaction is grumbles. Okay, I'll go. You know, the tone of voice is bad bitch. Okay, so. Okay. What's that? Yeah, he's gonna have that reaction. Now, I had to analyze what that reaction was, and it gave a big revelation. But I'll tell you the story. So, okay, I'll do it. Now, first of all, what am I actually saying? This better be worth it. That's what I'm saying. It's not so much about you. It is bad bitch, but it's also, this better be worth it. So now I kind of slam the doors. I go out, just kind of, okay. And I get in my car. This is where I really noticed it. Because I have self-awareness. Most men don't. They don't need it. You need the awareness, okay? So I got in my car. I skidded out. I never skid out, but I wanted to be heard, okay? So it's like a woman raising her voice. I got in my car and raised my voice, you know. So I skidded out, and I took off to go get the milk in the middle of the night. You know, why she has to have it tonight. You know, all that's called grumble. Now, as I'm driving the car down the hill, this is masculine. I'm now in my car. I now have a goal. Whenever I have a goal, and I'm taking action to achieve that goal in order to get a reward, what's being produced in my body? Testosterone. What causes men's stress levels to go down? Okay, so here I had, you know, I'm ready to go to sleep. My testosterone's down. I just want to sleep. I want to relax. That's all estrogen, okay? So I'm just getting in my car or taking action with a goal. So I'm doing something. I'm walking to the counter. Okay, I want to watch TV, but she wants a cup of tea. All right. But halfway through making the cup of tea, my hormones will change. And when my hormones change, I start thinking, I'm such a good guy. I'm willing to get up in the middle of the night to get milk from my wife. So I get to the store. This is because this is the first time a woman ever did this technique on me. I've got my hand on the door. I've completely forgotten about the grumbles. And I'm opening the door like I'm this hero guy. And I say to the cash register, I'm getting some milk from my wife. It was a man, so what? He had no But then I thought, okay, there's a woman over here. I'm going to walk by her and say, where's the milk? I'm getting some milk from my wife. Her reaction is, oh my God, you got up in the middle of the night to get milk for your wife. I mean, it's a emotional, really visceral, emotional kind of, yay kind of guy. Amazing. I wish I had a husband like him. And then I put my hand on the milk, and it's literally like I caught a touchdown pass. Okay, I mean, I did that once. So it's the same feeling. I got the milk, went back to the counter, put the milk down, said again to the guy getting some milk for my wife. He could have been thinking, he's a pussy. I don't care what you think. I care what she thinks, okay? So.
Hey, another question, and you weren't offended?
What?
This is the key point. When you have this impression of the guy that he thinks you're a pussy, you were not offended.
No.
You were not affected by it because
All I think back, he's a pussy too, or I think he's not getting laid, okay? But that's I used to go to the airport with flowers for my wife when I would travel. I'd get flowers, and I'd have these flowers walking to the airport, and guys are looking at me, and I'm looking back with my chest up going, yep, I'm getting laid and you aren't, okay? That's what I have to think inside,
When Val has her opening night, I always show up with flowers on the first night, and every guy there gives me a hard time. You look bad, you make all of us look bad, and I'm just standing there with flowers for opening night, isn't it?
And not all guys are thinking,
All the women go, oh, that's
look, I've been in airports. One time I was on a Valentine's Day, and I was getting flowers to bring home on Valentine's Day, and I bought them, and the woman at the counter goes, for your wife? I said, yes. She started crying right there. I wish I had someone. I never gave. It was just like there. And then I gave her a rose. It was very sweet. She cried again. Okay, so, all right. So that's the art of asking, and you should really read those sections really well, and those examples are probably in there. But besides asking is the takeaway there. Here's the story happened. So now I've completely forgotten grumbles. Now your takeaway from this is women do not forget grumbles. You hold on to it. You're be thinking, he asked me to get in the middle of the night, I could miss my sleep. Next time you ask me this, she's thinking, I do this for him and he wants more from me, I never give enough. See, you're gonna go into, you don't have that benefit of sacrifice. See, my testosterone goes up if I go through I give up what I want, I will grumble to make that shift. But when the reward comes in, it's clean. It's like a transaction. I worked hard. Maybe I didn't like cleaning up the house, or I have a job. I didn't like cleaning up whatever I'm cleaning up. But when they pay me, I go, all right, done deal. And then he learns over time, what men learn over time is, so who cares what I feel now? I'm getting paid. Yeah. See, that's the anticipation of the bottom line. Okay, so the thing women don't know is that men will let go of grumbles and a way of looking at grumbles. So I came home, had the milk. She was up. She gave me a big hug, big smile. That was the reward. And she could have been thinking, oh my God, I've asked him 3 times. He goes to the store. What's the big deal? Only took him 5 minutes, and I would have never done it again. Okay, see, the dynamic is you got to just wash it clean. And look, he did it, and we're making progress. So you have to have this idea. I'm training him to learn something very important that men do not know about women. Little things make a big difference. And whenever you're feeling neglected in a relationship, to a certain extent, just ask them to do things. Specific. So we have a game, and the game is called Genie in a Bottle. How many of you heard of that one? Yes. Okay, you already know Genie in a Bottle. You all know that one, so I don't have to do that. You don't know it? Okay, Genie in a Bottle is you work it out with your husband. Sometimes I feel disconnected, and a fun way for me to feel disconnected, and great if your couples can even talk about estrogen. I mean, there's one woman one of my clients, just didn't like intercourse. And so what's the point of it? I said, the point is intercourse is a major stimulator of estrogen. And you know you need estrogen. So she goes, oh, now I have a reason to have sex. So really, so he needs that for testosterone, then he'll be a better man, and I need sex for estrogen. I said, yes, when the penis is rubbing in the vagina, if there's proper stimulation before, it's a major estrogen stimulator. She goes, oh, now I see. We need to have some more sex for my estrogen levels. Very good, very good. So, and it's true, it's all true. Okay, so she just needed that context. Her religion said to her that sex was not a good thing. So she had to overcome that in terms of, well, science is helping me understand why. Only with someone you love, of course. Okay, so if I got all that right, and so the cliche on this one, that's the punchline on this, well, there's several, but it's just the story goes, so she gave me a big hug, put the milk in the refrigerator, went to bed. Next morning, I'm getting up a little later than her. She's downstairs in the kitchen. I happen to walk into the breakfast room, and right then the kids are going, yay, we have milk for their cereal. And she says, this is the greatness of what a wise woman will do. She says, yes, your father got up in the middle of the night and went to the store to get that milk. Yay, daddy, yay, daddy. You know? So that's the added thing. It's the acknowledgement of doing something that's meaningful. Even though it's little, you have to train us. If you want us to do little stuff, you have to train us that we get big rewards for that. And then we'll do it, but still, we need to be asked. It's rare that men will do anything they don't have to do. That's this gene, the efficiency gene. Okay, so then another takeaway on that story is, and this is all in my book, Mars, Venus on a Date. Okay, it's a great book, and it explains men's grumbles. Because on dating particularly, you're going to ask him to do stuff, and he's going to try to get out of it. Doesn't mean he's the wrong guy. It means he's grumbling. Grumbling is just basically he's going out the driveway, but then you just don't say, okay, I'll do it myself. Okay, if it's upsetting to you, okay, I'll just handle it myself. You've untrained him. You just act like it's normal for him to have a few grumbles and growls, just like when I'm chasing my little dog, who's now a big dog. Sometimes she'll growl. You know, I take stuff from her. She wants to play chase. It's the worst thing you can do, but I have fun with my dog. And so it's a little confusing to her. Sometimes she's supposed to chase me. We're going on a walk. Sometimes I chase her. You know, she walks around. She gets something like, I have something so special. Okay, she's a girl. Okay, she's like, come get me. Come get me. Okay, so that's very, very funny. So, but she'll growl. Vicky will get scared. I said, no, watch her tail. When their tail is wagging, they're just growling. It's some language they have, but it's just not dangerous. If a dog is growling and their tail is down, that's a woman growling. Okay, there's danger, and she won't forget it. But men forget this stuff. You know, it's like when women are unhappy, they have an extraordinary memory of every injustice of the relationship. So you're afraid if you push a man, he's going to remember, and I was going to bed that night, you woke me up in the middle of the night to get milk. So he's not going to do that. It's a score. It's a win. Anything to make her happy. So this is ultimately the most important thing is train people to train your clients to ask what they want and train men to respond quickly to asking. And that's the genie in the bottle game. So you already know the genie in the bottle game, correct? Everybody knows that. Okay, good. Now, there were some private questions that were asked of me today about weight loss. So I would not talk about weight loss. That's not my expertise. I got to stay in my lane. But I do know some things about weight loss and something we know about weight loss that most people don't know. As women, particularly when they're getting in their 40s, their hormones are already, estrogen levels are taking a drop. And if you're basically an endomorph particularly, look at all these great things. If you're endomorph, you need more fat, but also nobody needs too much fat. You don't want to fit into your clothes. So.
Is the time glass figure the same as the endomorph?
As what?
The time glass, is that the same as the
hourglass?
The hourglass is mesomorph. They're born with more muscle cells than most women. Okay. Hourglass. Hourglass, this shape like this, is mesomorph. Okay, and for men, it's just like this. Okay, and with little waist. Okay, so just a wide shoulders, little waist. Any man with wide shoulders has a requirement for more testosterone. Any woman with round body has a requirement for more conversation. Our nurturing activities. What's that?
There's 4 body shapes?
Well,
Or 3?
well known. Sheldon talked about 3. I've added the obvious 4th, which is ectomorph is no muscle, no fat, tall. But what about no muscle, no fat, short?
Okay.
Okay, that's me. And I'm pure intuition. And so and Jung talked about four types in terms of mental, emotional, intuitive, and physical. So they actually, people did later brain research showing that those four categories, their brains are different. There's certain different types. And again, if you just start becoming more physical, certainly your brain's going to make some shifts. So the big mistake, when we understand hormones, we have to know that as women's estrogen levels start to go down in their lives, they need more help to raise their estrogen levels. And if you're not psychologically giving yourself opportunities to increase estrogen, then your body is going to make you want to eat more, to put more fat on your body to produce estrogen. Fat on your body functions estrogen. So these are the endomorphs are going to be the most vulnerable to that because they're going to feel a greater need for estrogen. Mesomorphs won't feel that as much, but mesomorphs at a time, they still need estrogen. They're women, and they have generally higher testosterone levels than most women. But as estrogen, what will happen is if your lifestyle is not supporting the right estrogen and progesterone balance for you, you tend to want to pack on pounds in order to make extra estrogen. So what you want to do is find ways psychologically to produce more estrogen. I'll tell you, besides making love, the other major way to produce estrogen as a woman is what we did together, which was writing out the feeling letters. Literally, that you can sit there alone and you can basically cry. And if you can't cry, that's where you want to get to, is a place where tears are coming out of your eyes while you're writing. And you take it from what's bothering me now to how does this feeling I have now connect to what I felt as a child. Okay, so like a man I was counseling, I do men and women both with feeling letters. So he's doing his letter, and he made the realization, for example, that I had him go back to his father and then feeling he had to walk on eggshells around his father. And then he suddenly had this big revelation, oh my God, that's how I feel about my wife all the time. I said, yes, when you're feeling that about your wife, it's because you still have this unresolved stuff from your past. Now, he got there the opposite way. Most people, most women particularly, when you're writing out your emotions about what's happening right now, the negative emotions, making a big deal out of it. Don't make a big deal out of it to him. Make a big deal out of it when you're writing it out. Be completely irrational. You don't have to just... the more intense you get with your emotions, even if you're just amping them up a little bit, the more you're going to have brain plasticity and change your programming. And the programming is you're riding the horse home. You're starting with negativity. You're bringing it back to what am I really wanting? Like if I'm mad at somebody, I don't want to love you. But when I process through my emotions, now I want to love you. That's really why we ever get upset in the first place. Well, I want to mention a point here, which is something a lot of times let me finish that point. So writing out what you're feeling now and continue to look at when did I feel this way as a child. So I must have had at least a year or 2 years where mainly my feeling letters were just at a time where I felt betrayed by my dad at puberty around that time. And I go back to the same one. I could have just reread that letter over and over and over when things bothered me, which is a tool when you're busy. It's not as effective as writing it again, because writing it again will always help you go into the caverns of your emotions. So you don't have to find a different trauma every time. Yeah. If you're reacting, for he now knows whenever he's walking on eggshells around his wife, he'll start out with a letter being frustrated with these eggshells, walking on eggshells with his wife, disappointed she doesn't see all the stuff I do, concerned that she's only going to become a bad bitch forever. And I love her. I want her to appreciate me. You acknowledge what you're wanting and needing, and then coming back to what I'm grateful for, what I'm happy about, and he can do that so well. His problem was be able to dig into the negativity. It's there, but he didn't want to admit it. It's for everybody. The negativity is there. We just don't want to look at it. We feel it's not safe to look at it. Like, you could hardly even say the words, I hate you. So you don't have to say it to your mother. Just imagine you're writing a letter to your mother and say, I hate you.
And what is the reason behind having a fear to reread the feeling letter? I had many, by the way.
What's the reason?
I wrote a feeling letter several times, really,
Yes.
for my mom and several
Yes.
family members, but I have this fear, or I don't want to reread it again. I know where they are. I didn't bury them.
Then what you have to do is like, you wouldn't say, Mom, I hate you. I said, well, just try it. You have to overcome these little fears, and you have to look at those letters. And particularly because the letter is already written and you can't even read a letter you've written, that's your fear of looking at your child. Because if you have those emotions, it wasn't safe. You're a bad girl. You know, you should be punished to have feelings like that. You shouldn't have feelings like that. Nobody should have feelings like that. You should be good. You should be loving. And so, yes, you should be good and loving. Don't share those feelings with your mother. That would hurt her feelings. It would be confusing to her. And her generation, people push those emotions down because you love someone. And now we're saying we're not going to express those emotions to our partner because we love them, but we're going to listen to what's inside of us and transform it. We're going to feel it, and we're going to ride the horse home. Do you like that example? Ride the horse. That's a Zen phrase, and it's very apropos, particularly because you ride horses. Yeah, you just have to. But the first thing is you have to tame the horse. Okay, so how do you tame a horse, Rich? Did you ever have to when they buck?
Yes, you
See-
run them around and run them around and run
Oh, you
them
exhaust
around.
them. Is that you exhaust them? So you see, part of your experiencing is taming those letters are there, but I can't look at them. Okay, so you're struggling with that. So that's your horse. It's learning how to be at ease with, I have a lot of negativity in me. It doesn't mean I'm a negative person. And it doesn't mean I have to go tell that person. And another one is when you're writing those letters and you do anger and sadness. For some people, if I was really to say what I'm afraid of, I can't face that. You know, I remember there was a woman I was helping, and she was being defrauded of over $1 million. And she just kept hoping it was real, and it was fraud. And I said, well, let's imagine sometimes what you have to do if somebody just anger and sad is taking so long, what are your fears? Well, I have no fears because I know it's going to work out. I go, okay, good. I'm glad you know it's going to work out. You know, believe and it will happen, right? But if you're angry and sad, you've got fear. So let's look at what if this was complete fraud and you're going to lose that $1 million? I can't say that. I can't think that. I can't. Well, you need to. And if I actually look at that, my whole life is going to fall apart. I can't bear that. I said, just express the fear. And I give her the words. I'm afraid this is fraud. I'm afraid I'm going to lose that money. I'm afraid it's all wrong. I'm afraid I've made a big, big mistake. Let yourself feel what you're afraid of. Because if you're upset, there's some fear that you have. And sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes it's not. And sometimes you don't have to go there. But in that case, clearly, you know, when she's so resistant to thinking what would happen if it doesn't work out. Because we have the idea if we think something's going to go bad, it's going to go bad. And there's truth to that. Because in her case, if she actually looked at the truth, it was actually happening. She lost her money. Okay, so she lost $1 million or more than that. And so part of her intuition was it's going to happen. And I don't want to admit to myself it's going to happen. So she didn't want to express the fear. Another way of looking at that is when you have fears, and often when you have fears, you tend to create those very things. And that's true too. You know, whenever you're rushing, you always get in the longest line. Have you noticed that? You know, and when it's not a big deal, your intuition kicks into gear, you pick the right line. You're in a stressed state, you pick the wrong thing. So you pick the wrong line. So we don't want to admit to ourselves that maybe some of our fears that we feel are causing it to happen on some level. There's another dynamic. If I got a new white suit and I'm having chicken dinner or barbecue, I'm always going to spill it on my white suit. Or for men, when you get a new tie or whatever, when it's new and you're nervous about it, you end up dropping stuff on it. And then after that, you don't. Got my Tesla, and when I had my Tesla car, afraid of a dent. If I go to San Francisco, I'm going to get a scratch. I went to San Francisco, and somebody keyed it. It was weird, okay? Sometimes your fears come true, but actually it's just your intuition. So some people have more intuition or not.
How do you feel about manifestation? How do you feel about manifesting?
Okay, she asked the question of manifesting. That's your book, How to Get What You Want What You Have. It's all about manifesting. I manifested being the #1 best-selling author in the world. I manifested that. I had to imagine over and over and over, this is what I want, imagine having it, and then I just process the positive feelings of having it. I feel grateful, I feel happy, I feel I love it, I'm proud, all these positive feelings as I imagine myself having what I want. It didn't happen overnight. It was a long-term, it was just to have a publisher was the first part of it. And then imagining, and then when I became on the list, then I just every day, when I'm in the airplanes promoting it, do my meditation where I'm imagining having it, how it would make me feel. The more you can imagine it, how it make you feel, you're open to receiving it. When you're open to receiving something, your mind looks for practical ways of finding it, making it happen. You're not putting out an energy to push it away. Yes? What?
What would you do when the fear is showing up?
Feeling letters. Okay, so there's another technique I have, which is you basically, okay, so I've been rejected by a publisher, or I got a negative article. Remember I told you, never for that 5 years when it's always number one that I receive a positive article. They always said bad things about me. I'm a sexist, you know, and there's no research behind what I say, and who is he, and where did he go to school, and how does he know these things? Who's he to say these things, you know? This is what we're trying to move beyond, okay? So, I mean, and then they said weird stuff like he's in a homosexual relationship with Jim Jones, who a cult leader, you know, bizarre stuff, okay? This Time magazine wrote that. They said, you know, he's suspected of a homosexual relationship with Jim Jones. Somehow he escaped everybody dying. Give me a break, you know. This was like insanity stuff. They just make stuff up. The media's a liar. You don't understand. And when you've been in the media, you realize that 90% of what you hear is massively biased according to their agenda, and there's lies. They just throw lies out all over the place.
Yeah. And you're not even a politician.
Yes, I'm not.
Maybe that's why.
That would get worse.
Okay, so what we contribute to the weight loss thing is the understanding that if you're working out intensely, running or lifting weights, and you're a woman and you having weight gain problems, stop that. That's only increasing stress. Not as significant for men. We're born to have stress. Stress produces testosterone, lowers our thing.
What about like hot yoga and Zumba? Is it the same as
You know, the best one, yes. Okay. Hot yoga is very strenuous. Zumba is very strenuous. And it may work for some mesomorph possibly, but what works way better for, if the issue is not enough estrogen, those young women out there, they got so much estrogen, but if they have no weight problems, your body puts on weight if you're a woman, if you're not making estrogen through your behaviors. Any stressful activity inhibits estrogen production, period. There is a supplement. If you find yourself getting moody and irritable around progesterone time, there's something called Vitex, a supplement, which does produce progesterone, help your body make progesterone, just to know. That would be a good thing to take. Starting at ovulation, going to your period, Vitex will make more progesterone for you. And it's not a hormone replacement, it just sends a message to your brain to make progesterone. But we know social bonding, doing more what you like, doing exercise that you really like, that doesn't exhaust you. The best estrogen producer, best weight loss program is after every meal, walk 30 minutes. That's it. Don't have to walk up hills even. You just walk 30 minutes, move your body, and if you're a woman, if you can walk with somebody and talk. Walk and talk is your best weight loss thing. For a man, you could do it alone. It'll be a little bit more beneficial, but you could also walk with somebody. But walking is the most important thing to regulate your blood sugar. We're designed to walk for 4 hours a day, and we don't do it. So I'm just saying 30 minutes after a meal. Because this is, as animals, we have to be hunting for food all the time, foraging for food. The body's designed to do it. Let's all stand up and do a little exercise here I'll show you, which simulates, at least for the detoxification of your body, walking for 4 hours. And it's just simply my bounce and shake exercise, this one here. So now this is the beginning of a thing we're going to do this morning. So I'm going to teach you my meditation technique. Now, if you already have your technique, you can add it to your technique. You can do it. If you don't have a meditation technique, it's really good to do. It's also we're starting to talk about burnout with your clients. And one aspect of burnout for me is the more empathetic you are, the more you tend to pull in people's stuff. If you're like struggling with someone, you're trying to process their emotions, and you know that they have some feelings inside, but they won't get to it, and you're trying to get there because that's part of that processing stuff, you can't be attached in any way. That's why I told you the number one tool is, so I think you're feeling sad about that. And they go, no, I don't feel sad. You know they feel sad, and now you're going to push them, trying to get them to feel whatever they're feeling. You just absorbed their stuff, and you walk away thinking about it. How many of you can relate to walking away thinking about it? Okay, when you're walking away thinking about it, you absorb their problem. Rich never walks away thinking about it because he remains at a distance. Okay, he's a horse. Okay. He's a rider. Okay. Anyway, so to keep this from being boring, and I'm going to show you how good it is at the end. Because what we're going to do is we're going to activate the chi energy. That's physical. You don't have to do it like that. This is just loose. This is no muscles in this. This is up and down movement is the most important thing. Now, I could give a 30-minute talk on this. I'm not going to do it. Just want you to experience it. So the next one is we have an energy system of 7 major energy centers. Your heart, your belly, your sex genitals, your head. You think about things, your pain in the neck. These are places where energy centers. In the East, they call them chakras. We can just call them centers. So what we're going to do is let the energy sort of go to those centers. So this is your second center. You're basically moving. It's just loose. This is very loose. This isn't muscular. It's the up and down movement that activates what's called your lymphatic pumps. They have to pump against gravity. They have to take the toxicity up, and then it comes back down and goes out. But it has to go all the way up the body. Now, how does it go up the body? There's a mechanism of these little valves that pump it up only if you go up and down. Only if you go up and down. So now we'll go to the third energy center. And you have to even think about it, but just go in here. And it's just a loose kind of movement, loose movement. And if you do like that, and you're an older person, you could get tennis elbow. So this is older people, you need to be careful. We're not doing that, okay? We're just, body's just, and you can actually kind of have your hands kind of like that more, because we don't want to do so much this, because I found some people, like Vicki, you're doing it a little too intensely, but she's young. But just relax. She's Chinese. They do this in China, okay? So then here's another one. This is the American Indians, okay? So they'll do something like this. It was really fun when I gave a conference on all these American Indians, and here's the paradox. In the back, all they had was Coca-Cola and Sprite. And every one of them, this was a diabetic American Indian. They're so vulnerable to sugar products. And here they are encouraging them to drink that stuff, rather than give them some water, put some lemon in it, whatever. But remember, the most important exercise is walking 4 hours, you're not going to walk 4 hours because you don't have time, but at least 30 minutes after every meal. That's the whole thing. Otherwise, you're just going to hold on to that fat. Then you do intermittent fasting to build up your ability, and you can learn all about intermittent fasting, building up your ability to shorten the window of time between 2 meals a day. Then, once you can do that, next we were at the heart, we'll do it at the throat. This is like this. Just sort of bringing the energy up. With the intermittent fasting, you start with just being able to have 2 meals a day, less hours between the meals, shorten the time between meals. Then eventually practice skipping the whole day with just 1 meal. Okay, then you build up to doing a 24-hour fast. Then you eventually build up to a 36-hour fast once a month. And if you can do that, you'll be your perfect weight. But it takes a while to be able to go through it easily without stress. That's the thing. If you're blood sugar issues, you're not going to be able to do it. You have to start. And it's a gradual process. It's not an overnight process, but you'll feel better doing it. Now this is forehead. Put energy up like this. And this exercise as well. This is effortless. This is detoxifying your body. One of the reasons we put on fat, besides the hormone issue, is fat stores toxins. And your body will not release toxins unless you have a way of getting it out. And the way you get toxins out is through your lymphatic system. And this is what we're stimulating, is lymphatic system.
What do you think of dry brushing before a shower in the morning?
It's a fantastic thing to do, no question about it. It's great. It's just, there's a lot of great things you can do. That's a wonderful one. I don't think it's the major reason we put on weight. The major reason we put on weight, if we're supposed to have less weight for your body type, for your age, etc. Now we're going to come back down. And please don't stop until I tell you to stop, okay? Because what I'm going to have to do, I want you to set you up to notice your palms and your fingertips when I ask you to stop. And you'll just suddenly stop, take a deep breath, and feel your fingertips when I say to do that. One, I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then you do it. 1, 2, 3. Do you feel the tingling energy?
Yes.
Just feel that energy. Now that's the meditation energy. It's a flow. When you train your brain to get into a flow state, your stress levels dramatically drop. So bottom line, if you were like a really experienced, advanced meditator, you sit down and you'd open your hands up and you would just turn on that energy. That's life force energy. Now, as you're feeling that energy, imagine now you're pulling energy in, kind of like through a straw. Breathe in, pull energy in, and breathe out. Relax. Now breathe in, pull energy in, and relax. Breathe in, pull energy in, and relax. So this is a kind of meditation. This is a very healing meditation to feel that energy. Now raise your hands up a little bit like this and wiggle your fingers if I can see that you're feeling the energy. Now what we're doing here is activating our fingertips. They are channels of energy to feel the cosmic energy, the divine energy, the pure positive energy. In Christian terms, you're feeling right now the Holy Spirit. In Indian terms, in India, you'd be feeling the pranic energy, the life force. This is the life force. Are you feeling it, Rich? Yeah. So if you were Chinese, you call this the chi energy, the life force. So just notice your fingertips. That's the turn-on switch. Now, why is that the turn-on switch in all these ancient cultures? I don't know what we call it in Muslim. What do we call it in Muslim when God's grace comes to you?
Can be light of Allah.
What do you call it?
Light of Allah. It can be the light
What?
of Allah.
Light of God.
Light of Allah.
Oh, light of God. Good. That's what I call it myself. I call it, now we're going to do a little prayer. Now, I'm going to give you my prayer, but you could always do your Allah prayer, whatever it is, or your Christian prayer. Just keep feeling. It's amazing, isn't it? You feel that energy? You don't have to wiggle your fingers just in the beginning. Kind of, if you tense up, you won't. So that's why I had you wiggle your fingers a little bit. But now, so I have sort of my universal prayer, which is interesting. I didn't realize it was the same one. It's the light and love. This is light and love. I give it that word. So put your hands up like this. Now what this does is activate it even more. So you see so many people symbolically reach up to the heavens. But actually what's going on biologically is our body has natural chi energy, light force energy, whatever. And when your fingers are high, the blood will start to come down. And it's like healing angels will ever go. Whenever blood goes out of your body, energy comes in, fills you up to replace it. So this is actually sort of another trigger. It's just putting your hands in the air. Now, what you think has a huge effect on whether you're able to receive energy. If it's, again, all your angels, the Holy Spirit, the light, the wisdom, the universal, it only gives you more if you ask. That's the whole thing about prayer. It's the thing with men. You got to ask them. You got to ask. So first you got to know who you're asking. So we'll just call it universal divine intelligence. We can call it God. I'm going to call it God. You could call it Allah, but just know that's what I mean in my language. I'm going to say God. It's not what everybody says God means. It's what I say, what you might think. Higher power, pure positive energy, but you want to identify it. Okay, so divine, pure positive energy, God, Allah, Jesus, however you want to hold higher power. Now, who we're talking to. See, this is intelligent energy. You talk to it. You have to ask questions. Okay, so you go, dear God, arms go like this. My heart is open to you. Try saying that aloud. My heart is open to you. Again, dear God, just like that. Dear Allah, my heart is open to you. Now, have the hands come down like this. And it's come. That's all. Just please come. It's just come into my body, come into my heart. In my book, How to Get What You Want, the little meditation I do there is, Dear God, my heart is open to you. Come sit in my heart. I think I do that. It's another sweet one. But I try to take as much religious connotation out of it, even though it's pure spirituality. Dear God, my heart is open to you. Please come. And then slowly bring your hands like this. They're not going to touch, but slowly bring them together. Fill me with your love and light. Fill me with your love and light. Now we're going to just practice this a little bit longer. You wouldn't normally have to do this. Slowly bring your hands out. Fill me with your love and light. Fill me with your love and light. Who are we talking to? The higher power. Fill me with your love and light. And see, I'm now bringing my hands in. This is called palpating the energy field. Feel me? Because we're just this. You don't have to do this every time, but this is waking up that tingling energy. Can you feel a kind of an energy field that your hand is moving through? This is a standard kind of wake up the energy thing. I don't like to ever do any of this energy work first asking God to fill me up. Okay, I like to always check in with who I'm inviting into my body. Okay, so you always identify pure positive energy, come. So now we have a sense of, try doing this little thing here. This is just a sort of, you're slowing down your attention with intention, and you're feeling the energy field around your body right here. So now you've done this. Next thing you do is fill me with your love and light, and now put your hands down like this. Now when you do this, is you could say, right now, or you could have an offering. Like I know when I learned Muslim prayers, you would put water on you. Water is the most emotional cleansing element. You can do this by a lake. You can do this with a glass of water and on the airplane, as you're sitting there. So let's just put some water in front of us in our mind. I'll hold that image too. We have water in this room. So the idea is I'm calling forth the life force energy. Now, I'm making an offering of frequency for that energy to come to me. Energy flows in frequencies. Everything flows in frequencies. So am I going to think about somebody I hate when I want to pull this energy in? No. I'm going to think about something which is pure frequency, and that would be water. You could use fire. So many religious ceremonies in all these different cultures, they'll burn a candle, or they'll make offerings to a fire, or they make offerings with water. They do smells. You could have different perfumes using this perfume. You could say, using this song, when they're singing prayers and whatever. You're listening to these prayers, using the frequency of these sounds, fill me with your love and light. So this is important, as opposed to just come into me. What if I'm all stressed out? It's hard for that energy to resonate with me. So you have to have something through which it comes. So we have songs, we have perfumes, we have jewelry. You can charge up anything. Using this, fill me with your love and light. Okay, so this is using the water in this room. Oh, my favorite is roses. Okay, flowers, fragrant flowers. Using these flowers, fill me with your love and light. So if everybody, your eyes closed, imagine a beautiful rose. Think, what color is your rose? Doesn't matter whatever color you pick. Eyes are closed. Imagine a beautiful rose, and you're offering it to God, or the higher power. And your hands are out. So I'm offering this rose to you. Using this rose, fill me with your love and light. And every time you smell a rose and you go, oh, it smells so good, what you're doing is pulling in this divine energy. But now we're intentionally doing it. So feeling it, can you still feel the tingling in your fingertips? So that's to go through those 4 movements. Hands up. See, I don't even have to think the words. It's body memory, makes it really easy. Arms out. This is open my heart to you. This is come. Please come. Fill me with your love and light. That's intention. So here we are in our prayer mode of intention. Then offering. Use this rose. Take a breath with that to fill me with your love and light. Now this is really the fun movement, which is, it's a movement where you go like this and go down. And it's use this rose right now, using the rose, fill me with your love and light. Okay, so it's just kind of like nothing more needs to be done. Using the rose, fill me with your love and light. And then hands like this, thank you. Okay, feeling gratitude. Now you feel this gratitude, feel the fingertips, the energy in your fingertips. So this is just short meditation. I would do this, 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 and thank you. And what does thank you mean? Right now, I'm receiving the energy. Thank you for right now. Using my fingertips, I'm receiving the energy of your love and light. Or I'm receiving your love and light. So pulling the energy in. So now this is just a peaceful moment. Now you're centered. You practice breathing in this state where you breathe in energy and you breathe out darkness. Now this is where, if you've absorbed things from your clients, you could come home, sit in your bathtub, sit in front of a water source, look at some flowers, breathe the flowers in, and you're turning on your fingertips, resonating with something natural in nature. So I'm turning on my hands, my palms. So imagine this, you've got a rose energy, and now let the energy flow in to your elbows, and let it flow up to your shoulders. Let it fill your lungs. Take another deep breath. Imagine energy flowing through your fingertips, up your arms, into your lungs, into your heart. Another breath, bring it into your heart. If you wish, this is a self-healing exercise, which is you go through each of your organs with a breath, pulling the energy from your fingertips up your shoulders to that organ. And you can imagine love and light. It's like, imagine your life force energy filling up your body, feeling at ease and comfortable, asking the energy to do that. Go through your whole body. We're not going to do that. We're going to go even further, which is once you're able to receive energy with intention, you can send energy. But right now what you want to do is send out any negative energy back into nature. You know, plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe back oxygen. So your negative emotions is just life force that was stuck in your body. All life force. Love becomes, like, for example, anger when you stop expressing it. Trust and faith becomes fear when you stop feeling faith and trust. So all negative emotions is really just blocked positive emotion. So now you send your negative emotions, the energy, the blocked divine energy of anger. Anger is just blocked divine energy. Sadness is blocked divine energy. Fear is blocked divine energy. And I say this because women don't want to send their negativity into a flower. So you don't have to send the negativity. You send the blocked energy of anger. But you basically, whatever you're feeling that's negative, and you do a feeling letter right there in your meditation. So you're basically going through your negative emotions. And if you've taken on the problems of someone in the workplace and you're counseling and coaching, you have to pretend you're that person and do a feeling letter for them. If I was that person, then what I would have said in that session is, and then they would end up, you'd express what you do the feeling letter for them, and then you'd imagine them saying what an amazing teacher you are and how grateful they are to you. So you write the response letter to you, and they're done. It's just like, you wanted them to go that far. If they don't go that far, a part of you says, you want them so much, you're taking responsibility for them, you'll take it in. And when you take it in, that will free you from them. Is if they're in you, get them out of you. And you do the same thing with your mother and father. They're all in us. When you start becoming aware that many of your patterns is you're acting out your parents. So then you imagine, I'm going to do a feeling letter for my parents. Okay, as if I'm my mom right now, and I'm feeling disappointed that my husband's cheating on me or something like that. So you would process their feelings through you. Always the same procedure. Anger, sadness, fear, regret. What does I really, really want? What does I need? And then I give myself something. I'll do the response letter, breathing in energy, and then sending out negative energy. And then I'm feeling what I want. Now, let's hold on here. Now, come back to feeling the energy. Now, let all the stress go. We breathe it out. Now, once you let it go, now try, as you let it go, you've created a space for more energy to flow into you. And energy flows in when you desire. So, dear God, please fill me with your love and light. Help me to have a successful practice. Help me to help all my clients. Help me to what I really, really want is so this couple, I want them to feel forgiving and happy and joyous in their life, be grateful for the work that we're doing. For this couple, I really, really want them. So these are things we all want. We want our clients to be better. So I look at what I want for my clients, or what I look is what I want for my children. I want them to be ease and comfort. I want them to feel comfortable with this whole vaccination challenge, to soften the feelings, the acceptance of differences. We still love each other even though we don't. So you're creating pictures, stories in your mind while you're drawing this energy in of what you want. You're creating a new story for yourself. And you pull that energy in. Or you're just feeling stressed today and you take away some of your frustration. Now using this rose, send me your positive energy, and you express, the energy comes back to you more fresh. You recycled it. What I'm grateful for. So let's all do that. We're grateful for is Rich doing this amazing event, spending a lot of money so that we can really create a beautiful event in these big, huge rooms and these delicious, healthy food, and the effort he puts into getting all of us here. He's a one-pointed, amazing guy to make this world a better place. That's his joy and happiness. And we're all part of that family. And we all are that way. And to be grateful to our whole team for coming here together in this amazing weekend, filled with insights, filled with practical tools, filled with inspiration, more positive relationship with other coaches. Just feel your desire and feel the energy coming to you as you put your attention on what's positive in your life. And what I'm grateful for is all of this. And what am I happy about? Well, I'm happy we get to go out refreshed from this wonderful vacation with new insights, with new applications, with new motivation, get to see my family again, get to, maybe visit Vegas and have some fun entertainment, whatever it might be you're grateful for. And what you're happy is I get to do these things now. And after that, you go into what I love. I love being a coach. I love my family. I love my partner. I love my children. I love living at this time in the world where we have so much we can offer and make such a difference. And I'm proud I just got my award, or I'm proud that I made the effort to come here. I really appreciate being here. I'm proud of the work I do. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of my accomplishments. I'm proud of my values, that I'm committed to bringing love into the world. All this while you're pulling energy in. And then rub your hands together and we'll be done. And so that's a processing of feelings and meditation at the same time. And if you like that, let me know, either clapping, so we'll shift gears. Okay, there we go. Double it. Sit there. Okay, so now you can have a seat. We'll share a little bit of your experience of that. It's usually people are so relaxed they don't want to share, but it's important to acknowledge. What did the horseman feel during that?
I'll tell you, because I've been doing this for the last year.
Yep.
And when I do this, I feel it come. I usually open my heart. I do this, and for some reason, as soon as I turn it over and push here, I get goosebumps.
Yeah, well, that's the done. It's like, okay, God's taking over.
But
It's
only
like,
at that part. You know what I mean? This, I feel the energy.
Yeah.
I feel it in my heart is open. Then I do this, and as soon as I go like that, even right now.
yeah, I know that the movements are there, and the more you practice it, like several times, I had a very, very fun last night. But before, when I go to med, before I want to fall asleep, as opposed to just lying there and wait for it to happen, I just do this, and I just feel it for a little while. And
Do you feel when you do that?
everybody does. That's when because what you're saying is this is all preparation. It's right now, using this rose, fill me with your love and light. So this is it.
Gets me up in the morning.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah. And then this is a big thank you. And you can just do that. You can also use, if you want to go further, if you have stress, you say, now take away the stress. You send it out into something. Now, again, music, you could send it out to music. All right, you see, you're just using frequencies. Using this frequency, take away. The frequency you use to bring it in, you use the frequency out. In some traditions, it's using a prayer, just using this prayer. It's very, very, however you choose to do it. I think that what's very useful is water when we're dealing with emotions. If you're dealing with anger, it's fire, it's candles. You know, it's always good to light a candle before you make love. It just, particularly women are naturally sensitive. They'll resonate with whatever elements. An orderly room for some people, creating order. I mean, I was very lucky. You know, Bonnie really liked order. I like it. I don't create it so much. But that would be, you know, I have a housekeeper, and I just love when she comes, I walk into my bedroom, and it's like a hotel room. Everything is like all nice and order and all done for me. It's just such a good feeling. So there's various things that you resonate with naturally. And that has to do with, again, your body type, your history, certain elements. But water is universally good for the emotional work of decharging. Okay, and I mentioned with weight loss, the best thing, remember, it's the walking helps balance your blood sugar. We're designed to do this. It's very, very important. You could always integrate this when you're fasting, particularly you want to get your lymphatic flow. The only thing that makes your lymphatic flow is walking. Okay, it's going up and down in the Earth's magnetic field. And if you don't walk, they found this with the going up in the astronauts, if they did not simulate the Earth's electromagnetic field, and they didn't practice going up and down, then what would happen is they would get space sickness. That's where they learned that what we need as human beings is to go up and down inside of an electromagnetic field. That's also what generates electricity, is an electromagnetic field. And then you just basically, if you create an electromagnetic field like this and put a wire in it, suddenly electricity appears. Nobody knows how. They just know that's what happens. Is energy gets created as we move up and down inside the Earth's electromagnetic field. Besides, all of our pumps in our body are designed to detoxify the body of old waste by moving up and down. That would naturally happen through walking. It's just simply going up and down, a little up and down in the Earth's electromagnetic field. Otherwise, you lose energy. So those are some nice little tips we can always give to our clients. Somebody asked me another, we did the meditation. We did a little on weight loss, at least my addition to it, and there's so many people online teaching intermittent fasting. And one that we really like, what's her name? Somebody was telling me.
I follow Dr. Mindy Perez.
Yeah, why don't you give me the spelling? I've done her show. We talked all about hormones. She's very in harmony with a lot of what we say. Not that we know everything she says is fact, but it's really good ideas. She has a schedule of intermittent fasting. Let's put her name here. What is it?
Mindy, Dr. Mindy
DR. What's her website? Mindy M.
Perez. So she has a book called Fast Like a Girl.
Yeah, Fast Like a Girl is a really good book for women. Fast Like a Girl.
Because fasting for men and women are different.
Yeah, fasting for men anyway. Like you would never, ever want to fast when you need high progesterone. Okay, because nobody likes to fast. And so whenever you do what you like to do, you're producing progesterone, if it's that time of the cycle. And whenever you're doing what you have to do to lose weight, you won't lose weight. That's stress. That's testosterone. Testosterone is produced whenever you feel, I don't really like this so much, but I have to do it. Even if it's like, I want to get up in the morning. I missed an hour of sleep. I'd like to sleep in. And you go, hey, I got to get going. That's sucking up and going into your male side. That's good for men to do. Not good for women to do. But you have to do it sometimes. So one of the key phrases I said yesterday is anticipation is one of the gifts of God, which is if you're in the workplace and you have to make testosterone all day, at least to know I have a personal life where I can produce my progesterone, where I can produce my estrogen, and then it's as if you're making it then. See, as long as you imagine it's coming up soon. That's why we encourage men to plan dates, days in advance. So now you're getting 5 days worth of estrogen going higher and higher, as opposed to, honey, what do you want to do tonight? I'll do whatever you want to do. Men do that, and they think they're being romantic. And they think they're being like, hey, I'd love my wife to say to me, hey, honey, what do you want to do tonight? I'll do whatever you want, okay? So he doesn't have any idea of what your biology requires in order to, and can benefit from, is anticipation of a special time where you get what you want and you get to feel, I deserve what I want. One of our affirmations here, I can get what I want and I deserve to have what I want. That was your affirmation. It's kind of like something for all of us to remember.
If you have past menopause, does it matter when you fast?
She has a
Okay, it's a too echoey. Say it again.
If
Yeah, you're beyond menopause.
Does it matter when you do the fasting then?
Here's what I suggest you do, is your body's not sending you signals as strongly as you would if you were cycling. So you have to create those cycles. It's the same idea as with sex. If you just wait for your hormones to put you in the mood, pretty much if you're somewhat resonant and stress-free, you're going to be in the mood only when you're a few days before ovulation. But if you're in, what we do is we're not animals, just animals. We want to honor the animal part of us, but you have the ability as men and women to have sex quite a bit, make love a lot, if you generate the hormones of making love. And then after menopause, basically you have to depend greatly on your behaviors to stimulate those hormones. And so what you do is you want to create a nice cycle of you time, which is testosterone, me time, which is your progesterone, or social bonding, doing what I like to do, and you time, me time, you time, we time, and that's your estrogen. So the way so you sort of can hold this is when the full moon is there, treat that in your as if you have a cycle, where that's when you're going to have your most romantic moments. There's a fullness at that time. And there is a reality that emergency workers tell me, crazy stuff happens with people's emotions around this time. It's just indisputable, even though I have no research that will actually validate that. They say, oh, that's wives' tales or whatever. But you talk to emergency workers, and I know as far as relationships go, this is where people tend to, around that time, it's like disappointment. He didn't do something for me. Often that's when you'll feel the most disappointment, because you have more emotional, your estrogen levels when you're younger are going to naturally be triggered at that time. Even if you're not ovulating, you're still, think of that, this is being in the cycle, being the ovulation, and new moon think of that as like your period. Okay, these are cosmic forces that we can't fully define in scientific terms, but there's no reality. People say, oh, this doesn't mean anything. Are you kidding? Where I live, when the tide goes in according to the moon and the tide goes out, huge changes occur. Imagine, and we're mostly water, so we're dramatically affected by the moon. So that can become a foundation for you. What I'd like to do is, I know we have to go to our rooms to pack. Rich, what's our schedule? We have to stay on the time here?
11, it's 10, it's 20 to 11.
Okay, so the next 20 minutes, I'd like to avoid answering questions and have you share in little groups what you want to remember from the week, or from the whole conference. So form groups of 4 with people. You just pull away from the table. I don't know how to do that, Rich, would you? You want to do it in the middle? Not one circle, groups of 4. Everybody could get in little groups of 4, and I'll give you instructions what to do in your group. And this will be a little exercise you can also do in your workshops.